In the heart of the Italian Renaissance, a period teeming with artistic fervor and intellectual rebirth, one name resonates with a particular, almost mythical, luminescence: Leonardo da Vinci. To label him merely an artist, though he painted Mona Lisa and The Last Supper, images that have permeated global consciousness, is to grasp but a single facet of a diamond so complex it continues to dazzle centuries later. His was a mind that refused the neat categorizations of human endeavor, a relentless engine of curiosity that saw the universe not as a collection of disparate subjects, but as an interconnected marvel, ripe for exploration. Imagine a man driven by an insatiable hunger to understand how things worked. Not content with surface appearances, Leonardo's eyes were instruments of piercing inquiry. He looked at a bird in flight and saw not just poetry in motion, but a problem of aerodynamics to be solved, a blueprint for a human flying machine sketched with meticulous detail in his voluminous notebooks. He observed the swirl of water in a river and discerned the fundamental principles of fluid dynamics, patterns he would later translate into designs for canals and hydraulic systems, or even the flowing locks of hair in his portraits. Born in 1452 in the rustic Tuscan countryside, Leonardo was an illegitimate son, a circumstance that, paradoxically, may have liberated him from a preordained path, allowing his eclectic talents to germinate. He received a craftsman's education in the Florentine workshop of Andrea del Verrocchio, a leading artist and engineer of his day. Here, Leonardo would have learned not only painting and sculpture, but also the practical arts of metalworking, mechanics, and chemistry, a fertile ground for a polymath in the making. Yet, even in this vibrant environment, his vision soon outstripped that of his contemporaries. Legend tells of Verrocchio abandoning painting altogether after witnessing the ethereal quality of an angel. Leonardo contributed to his master's baptism of Christ, so humbled was he by his pupil's burgeoning genius. This was no cloistered scholar, lost in abstract contemplation. Leonardo was a man of action and observation, his knowledge deeply rooted in empirical investigation. He believed that sight was humanity's noblest sense, and the saper vedere, knowing how to see, was the key to unlocking the secrets of both art and nature. This philosophy propelled him to dissect human corpses, often in secret and at great personal risk, to unravel the intricate machinery of the human body. His anatomical drawings, breathtaking in their accuracy and artistic grace, were centuries ahead of their time, revealing a profound understanding of bone, muscle, and organ systems that would have revolutionized medicine had they been widely published during his lifetime. His was a gaze that sought to penetrate the veil of the visible, to comprehend the underlying structures and forces that shaped the world. Leonardo's relentless quest to saper vedere found its most visible and enduring expression in his art. He was not merely transcribing reality, he was interpreting and imbuing it with a psychological depth and an understanding of natural phenomena that was unprecedented. Consider his mastery of sfumato, that signature smoky, hazy quality where tones and colors blend so subtly that they melt into one another without perceptible lines or borders. This was no mere stylistic flourish. It was born from his acute observations of how light and atmosphere interact, how distant objects appear less distinct, their edges softened by the intervening air, a scientific understanding of optics and atmospheric perspective translated into a painterly revolution. The enigmatic smile of the Mona Lisa, which seems to flicker between joy and sorrow, owes much of its captivating ambiguity to the delicate application of sfumato around the corners of her eyes and mouth, defying fixed interpretation. His paintings became laboratories for his scientific inquiries. The dramatic interplay of light and shadow, chiaroscuro, which lends his figures such profound volume and presence, was informed by his studies of optics. He meticulously recorded how light strikes objects, how shadows are cast, and how reflections behave. Look at the Virgin of the Rocks, where the figures emerge from a crepuscular cavernous setting. The light models their forms with a sculptural solidity, while the intricate botanical details in the foreground speak of his first-hand studies of plant life. Every leaf, every petal is rendered with a naturalist's precision, yet integrated seamlessly into a composition of profound spiritual mystery. His anatomical knowledge, gleaned from those clandestine dissections, allowed him to depict the human form with an unparalleled accuracy and grace. Not just the surface musculature, but the underlying skeletal structure that dictates posture and movement. The very gestures of his figures in The Last Supper, each apostle reacting with individualized, psychologically astute emotion to Christ's pronouncement, are a testament to his deep understanding of human anatomy and expression. But the paintings, for all their fame, are but islands in the vast ocean of his intellectual output. The true repository of Leonardo's sprawling genius lies within the thousands of pages of his notebooks. These manuscripts, filled with mirror script writing, a deliberate obfuscation perhaps, or merely a left-hander's convenience, and teeming with sketches, diagrams, and observations, offer an unparalleled glimpse into the workings of his mind. Here, art and science are not separate disciplines but inseparable currents of the same inquisitive river. Anatomical studies sit alongside designs for flying machines. Observations on the flight of birds share pages with sketches for utopian cities. Treatises on painting are interspersed with plans for colossal equestrian statues and innovative weaponry. Within these notebooks, the engineer and inventor truly come to life. He conceived of an armored tank, a self-propelled vehicle centuries before its time. He designed diving suits, hydraulic pumps, canal systems, and bridges of remarkable ingenuity. He envisioned a multi-barreled machine gun, a giant crossbow, and even a mechanical knight. While many of these inventions remained unrealized, hampered by the technological limitations of his era or the lack of sustained patronage for such ambitious projects, the sheer breadth and foresight of his designs are staggering. They reveal a mind constantly wrestling with practical problems, seeking innovative solutions, and applying principles learned from one domain, be it the anatomy of a bird's wing or the flow of water, to an entirely different challenge. This cross-pollination of ideas is central to understanding Leonardo's unique mode of thought. Leonardo's inventive mind was not confined to theoretical musings. It was often yoked to the practical demands of his powerful patrons. For Ludovico Sforza, Duke of Milan, he was not only a court painter and master of revels, but also a military engineer. His notebooks from this period are filled with fearsome designs: scythed chariots intended to mow down enemy soldiers, catapults of novel design, mortars that could hurl devastating projectiles, and that iconic, almost alien armored vehicle resembling a precursor to the modern tank, bristling with cannons and propelled from within. He understood the grim theater of war and applied his intellect to its brutal mechanics, always seeking an innovative edge, a more efficient means of defense or attack. His proposals for fortifications and siege engines reveal a keen grasp of geometry, mechanics, and the psychology of warfare. Beyond the battlefield, his engineering prowess was directed towards taming and harnessing the natural world. Water, in particular, captivated him. He meticulously studied its movements, its power, its potential. His designs for canals, locks, and dredging machines were intended to make rivers navigable, to irrigate arid lands, and to control devastating floods. He envisioned diverting the Arno River in Florence, a project of breathtaking ambition that, while ultimately unsuccessful, showcases the scale of his thinking. His studies of hydraulics were not merely practical. They were part of his broader effort to understand the Earth as a living organism, with water as its lifeblood, its currents and eddies following discernible mathematical and physical laws, much like the circulation of blood he had studied in human anatomy. This holistic view extended to all his scientific pursuits. His botanical studies were not just for accurately rendering plants in his paintings. They were an attempt to understand the principles of growth, branching patterns, which he noted often followed mathematical rules, and the influence of light and environment on plant life. He was a geologist centuries before the term existed, observing rock strata, the formation of fossils, and the slow, inexorable processes of erosion, correctly deducing that fossils found high in mountains were remnants of ancient marine life, implying vast changes in sea levels and land masses over immense timescales. His fascination with light and optics drove him to design lenses and mirrors to explore the workings of the human eye and to theorize about the nature of vision itself. Yet for all this prodigious output of ideas and designs, a curious pattern emerges. A vast number of Leonardo's scientific and engineering projects remained unfinished, his treatises unpublished, his grandest visions unrealized blueprints. Was it a restless intellect, always flitting to the next fascinating problem before the last was fully resolved? Was it an almost crippling perfectionism, a reluctance to release anything into the world that did not meet his impossibly high standards? Or was it simply that his mind operated on a plane so far removed from his contemporaries that the necessary support, understanding, or technological means to bring his more audacious schemes to fruition were simply absent? Perhaps it was a combination of all these factors. His written observations on flight, for instance, based on meticulous studies of bird anatomy and aerodynamics, were remarkably prescient. Yet the construction of a successful human-powered flying machine was beyond the materials and power sources of the 15th and 16th centuries. His legacy in science and engineering, therefore, is less about completed works and more about the methodology and the sheer visionary scope. He was a harbinger of the scientific method, relying on direct observation, detailed recording, and, where possible, experimentation. His notebooks stand as a testament to a mind that saw no artificial barriers between disciplines, a mind that believed the universe was a solvable puzzle, if only one knew how to look, how to question, and how to record with unwavering fidelity. He was, in many ways, designing a future he himself would never inhabit. Who was the individual behind this whirlwind of creation and investigation? Glimpses of Leonardo's personality emerge from contemporary accounts and his own writings, painting a picture of a man both charming and somewhat aloof, handsome, and possessed of great physical strength, yet often preferring his own company or that of his dedicated pupils. He was described as a captivating conversationalist, able to discourse on any subject with eloquence and wit, a quality that undoubtedly helped him navigate the courts of powerful patrons like Ludovico Sforza in Milan, Cesare Borgia, for whom he served as a military architect and engineer with remarkable pragmatism, and later, King Francis I of France, who became a devoted admirer and friend in Leonardo's final years. Yet, despite his ability to move within these circles of power, a certain enigmatic detachment seems to have characterized him. He was intensely private, particularly regarding his personal life. His notebooks, while revealing the vastness of his intellect, offer few intimate confessions beyond occasional philosophical musings, fables, or expressions of frustration with the limitations of his time or the slow pace of his own monumental undertakings. He was known for his vegetarianism, an unusual stance for the era, reportedly stemming from a deep compassion for animals. He was said to purchase caged birds in the marketplace simply to set them free. This sensitivity, this respect for life in all its forms, echoes in the meticulous care with which he rendered the natural world in both his art and his scientific drawings. The great paradox of Leonardo's life is the immense contemporary fame he achieved as a painter, juxtaposed with the centuries of obscurity that shrouded his equally, if not more, revolutionary work as a scientist and inventor. While his Mona Lisa and The Last Supper were instantly iconic, influencing generations of artists, the thousands of pages containing his anatomical studies, his engineering designs, and his profound insights into the natural world lay largely unread and unappreciated. After his death in France in 1519, his cherished notebooks were bequeathed to his loyal companion, Francesco Melzi. Melzi treasured them, but after his own passing, this extraordinary archive was tragically dispersed, sold off, and scattered, its contents only slowly coming to light and being understood for their true significance over the subsequent centuries. Imagine the acceleration in scientific understanding, in medical knowledge, in technological development, had Leonardo's empirical investigations and visionary designs been systematically published and disseminated during his lifetime or shortly thereafter. His detailed anatomical drawings alone, with their clear depiction of the heart as a muscle and its valves, or his studies of the human skeletal and muscular systems, could have transformed medical education. His insights into geology, botany, and hydraulics were far ahead of their time. Yet, because this knowledge remained largely locked away, the world had to rediscover many of these principles independently, often much later. His influence, therefore, was often more subtle, perhaps percolating through the artists and engineers who had direct contact with him, or through the sheer awe his artistic achievements inspired, setting a new standard for verisimilitude and psychological depth. Leonardo da Vinci stands as the ultimate embodiment of the uomo universale, the Renaissance ideal of the universal man, an individual whose intellectual curiosity and creative abilities knew no bounds, who sought to master all branches of knowledge and art. In an age that celebrated the limitless potential of humankind, he demonstrated that potential more comprehensively than perhaps any other figure. His refusal to be confined by the boundaries of a single discipline, his relentless pursuit of understanding through direct observation and experimentation, and his profound belief in the interconnectedness of all things make him a figure of perpetual fascination. He was a man who seemed to contain multitudes, his mind a microcosm of the universe he so diligently sought to comprehend. More than 5 centuries after his death, the figure of Leonardo da Vinci continues to exert a potent fascination, a beacon illuminating the extraordinary capacities of human intellect and imagination. His name has become synonymous with universal genius, his life a testament to the power of boundless curiosity and relentless observation. Why does he still speak to us with such immediacy? Perhaps it is because, in an age increasingly defined by specialization, Leonardo's holistic approach to knowledge, his seamless fusion of art and science, reminds us of a more integrated way of understanding the world. He saw no chasm between the intricate beauty of a painted smile and the precise mechanics of a bird's wing. Both were expressions of nature's underlying order, worthy of the deepest study. The legacy he left is not merely in the tangible masterpieces of art, or the scattered, often unrealized blueprints of his inventions. It resides profoundly in his methodology, his unwavering commitment to empirical evidence, his insistence on sapere vedere, knowing how to see. In a world before the formal codification of the scientific method, Leonardo was its intuitive practitioner. His notebooks are not just repositories of facts and designs, they are chronicles of a mind engaged in a constant, dynamic dialogue with the natural world, a mind that questioned, sketched, dissected, and theorized in a relentless pursuit of truth. This spirit of inquiry, this refusal to accept dogma without direct investigation, remains a cornerstone of scientific advancement and creative innovation. There is a striking modernity to Leonardo. His designs for flying machines, his anatomical studies so detailed they could inform surgery today, his understanding of geological time, and his visionary urban planning concepts that prioritized hygiene and efficiency. All these seem to speak to concerns and ambitions that resonate deeply in the 21st century. He grappled with problems of flight, sustainable engineering, and understanding the human body in ways that still feel contemporary. His ability to think visually, to translate complex ideas into clear and elegant drawings, is a skill highly valued in fields ranging from design to data science. He was, in essence, a systems thinker, always looking for connections, patterns, and underlying principles. To study Leonardo is to be invited into a masterclass on the art of learning. It is to witness the power of sustained attention, the value of keeping detailed records of one's thoughts and observations, and the creative potential that arises from allowing disparate fields of knowledge to cross-pollinate. Even the vast number of his unfinished projects carries a lesson. Perhaps the journey of inquiry, the process of grappling with monumental challenges, holds as much significance as the final polished product. His ambition often outstripped the capabilities of his era, yet he never ceased to push against those boundaries. Leonardo da Vinci remains an enigma, not in the sense of being unknowable, but in the sense of being inexhaustible. Each generation rediscovers him, finding new facets of his genius that speak to its own concerns. He is the artist whose gaze captured the soul, the scientist whose scalpel sought the secrets of life, the inventor whose dreams soared into the sky. He reminds us that the human capacity for wonder, when coupled with rigorous inquiry and creative daring, can indeed aspire to mirror and perhaps even reshape the world. His light, kindled in the heart of the Renaissance, has never been extinguished. It continues to illuminate the path for those who dare to imagine and to explore.